Getting in big breaking inputs right now. We are getting in that the Rashtrapati Bhavan has now, in fact, issued its press release, which goes on to declare that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has met the President today and tendered in his resignation. This, along with the Council of Ministers. The President, of course, has accepted the resignation and requested Shri Narendra Modi and the Council of Ministers to continue till the new government assumes office. This is the big breaking input that we are bringing to you. Prime Minister finally tendering him his resignation. Remember, it was prior to this that the Prime Minister also presided over the last meeting of the outgoing Council of Ministers that happened at his residence today at Lok Kalyan Marg, and that happened roughly at around 10 a.m. Now, Prime Minister Modi, as we are being told by the press release that's been released by the Office of the President, that he has tendered in his resignation, which has been accepted by President Draupadi Murmu. Nonetheless, he's been requested to continue till the new government assumes office. This is the big breaking input that we are bringing to you after Prime Minister meeting President Draupadi Murmu's concern. Now the press release going on to, in fact, also making it official in the public domain. Let's quickly go across to Pallavi, who's joining me on the phone line. In fact, Pallavi is joining us live if I'm going by what I'm being told. Pallavi, share the details with us.
Well, this is just a formality also, but let me just quickly read out what essentially has been said by the official communication which is coming from Rashtrapati Bhavan. It basically talks about that the President has accepted the resignation of the Prime Minister along with the Council of Ministers. But we just to understand, of course, he has been asked to carry on till the new government assumes office, and we already have been reporting that the Prime Minister is likely to take oath on the 8th. This is for his third term. This is a matter of procedure. When the results do come out, as an outgoing government, you go in and give in your resignation and that of your entire cabinet. Of course, this has happened post the cabinet meeting, the last one of Modi 2.0. And it's after this when the Prime Minister, because he has the numbers and the BJP is the single largest party, will stake claim to form the government. And that is when the President of India invites the Prime Minister to form the government. And then, of course, the procedure is then on, you take oath. There are a handful of Council of Ministers who take oath. Their portfolios are released. A parliament session, of course, is expected to be called by the end of this month or possibly the first week of July. And that is where you will really have to prove your majority on the floor of the House. So this is a quick wrap up of the sequence of events, really, Akanksha, because this is a matter of procedure which has to be followed.
Absolutely. Matter of procedure. Prime Minister meeting the President over there, recommending the dissolution of the 17th Lok Sabha. Having said that, Pallavi, also take us through that very important meeting that was presided over by Prime Minister as far as the Council of Ministers that were being addressed by the Prime Minister earlier during the day.
Well, as we all know today, of course, there's a flurry of activity. There's a big NDA meeting at 4 p.m. and then there's an India Front meeting which is going to take place at 6 p.m. But the Prime Minister, of course, had a cabinet meeting at around 11:30 a.m. and it is post that he recommended the dissolution of the Council of Ministers to the Rashtrapati Bhavan. And, you know, it was, of course, a goodbye for 2.0. So when he comes back for his third term, it's going to be a new look cabinet, large number of people who are sitting MPs, for example, and ministers. They, of course, have been defeated, and I guess the Prime Minister is now going to give a lot of focus on the economy. So it is going to be that kind of narrative which his new cabinet is going to be doing. But all the leaders who are expected to be a part of the NDA as well as the India Front meeting have already arrived in the national capital. So yes, it's going to be a big newsy couple of hours ahead.
Pallavi, where do you see the lion's share going in the new cabinet reshuffle? I know it's fairly nascent, fairly nascent to, in fact, discuss. But on the right side of your screens, let me tune in to all our viewers who are tuning in right now, bringing them the latest image, which has, in fact, been tweeted out by President Draupadi Murmu's office over there. President has also tweeted the same over there, very much meeting the Prime Minister as he recommended the dissolution of the 17th Lok Sabha. Let me quickly go back to Pallavi. Pallavi, now that we are talking about a spanking new cabinet, we are also seeing how the bargaining chip is currently with the kingmakers. Who takes the lion's share? And I know you have a lot of information to share. So let's have it straight from the horse's mouth.
Well, some things don't change, Akanksha, and that is, of course, a suspense factor which comes in from Narendra Modi. But, you know, having covered UPA 2, which was really a coalition government, Akanksha, this time round, as we all know, BJP has not even got a simple majority. So its dependence on its allies like Chandrababu Naidu as well as Nitish Kumar will bound to increase, as on the other allies as well. And allies always ask for their pound of flesh. There are various figures and various demands which are already being put out. But it's very clear that Chandrababu Naidu is obviously ecstatic because he's coming back, he's bounced back as a CM of Andhra Pradesh. Nitish Kumar, which many people had written off by saying his party is not going to do well in Lok Sabha, has actually ended up doing well. I'm sure they are going to, and Bihar elections are not going to be too far away. So of course, keeping that in mind and his stature which he would want to reclaim, he would ask that JDU ministers should be given a place, and that to significant portfolio, something which he can use it politically. Right. And of course, the same is the case with TDP. So it's going to be a kind of balancing act with Modi government will have to make, where you placate the allies and ensure that it becomes a team Modi.
And in fact, if I could bring in Rahul on that note, Rahul, rewarding the allies is also extremely important for the Bharatiya Janata Party and for the overall NDA as well, whether it is a TDP or a Janasena or even a Chirag Paswan's party and Nitish Kumar himself in Bihar.
You know, I'm very glad you actually brought up the other names also, because don't forget they're competing for berths. So everyone in this equation is important. Remember that the JDU has a certain number of seats, and between them and the TDP, I think they have somewhere in the region of about 30 seats, which still leaves, if one of them were to go, I'm not saying that's going to happen, it still leaves the NDA with a bit of cushion. The fact is they would ideally want both of them on board, and therefore, because they have the overwhelming numbers, the LJSP has about 5, the HAM has 1. So these are not seats, these are not allies that can actually bargain hard and heavy with the Prime Minister. I just heard Pallavi say that, look, in the past, the Prime Minister has been a lot more unpredictable. That's because he's had a pretty much a free hand to decide who he wants to give what to, and you know, it could be at a whim, it could be on the back of a political calculation. Here, the X factors will not be determined by Mr. Modi. There's a very strong likelihood that both these individuals are going to ask for significant portfolios. Why? Because already we just heard Tejasvi Yadav a little while back saying, now that Bihar is playing kingmaker, I think Bihar must get a special package. So what is going to be more emphasized will be what is more politically significant. As Pallavi is also saying, what Mr. Nitish Kumar can go back and tell the voters, look what I've got for you, I'm playing Santa Claus, we have a state government, I've been able to extract maybe a huge financial package with huge amount of political symbolism, and therefore tell the people of Bihar that this double engine is actually working for you.
All right.
So that's really what's going to now transpire. It's going to be very, very difficult. And she was sort of talking about the fact that, you know, it's a mere formality and all of this, and perhaps in the next few days we're going to have a swearing-in ceremony. We're being told it might be on Saturday. But don't forget, Akanksha, and I think Payal is also there and she could weigh in on this. Don't forget, if these conversations with the allies become protracted, either the swearing-in could be delayed, or you might just see very few people being sworn in. Maybe
Thanks so much for watching CNBC TV 18. For all the breaking news and top stories, keep following us on all our social media platforms.